Hello there my fellow Holy Heroes, and welcome to what I'm hesitant to call a counter guide. Let's just call it Negotiator versus Leviathan video without counter guide there, because the reliability isn't that great. Like for Grand Arena, for the most part, I guess you get most of the fleet down and then you can clean up, so it's kind of a decently reliable two-shot. But for climbing in Fleet Arena, obviously two shots don't help you out there. But if you got no other choice, it can help you out, as I will show you in one of my lower end accounts. I do have only Negotiator, and it's the only way I can beat Leviathan. So I will show you how I'm able to get it done. But you know, again, it's about looking at data, about 28% win rate. So I just want to put that out straight at the start of the video so that people don't get the wrong idea that this is going to be very reliable. A lot of RNG involved in this one, so I'll cover all the key RNG factors as normal. But first, let's go ahead and review some of the key mechanics, how the Leviathan and Negotiator interact. Now, I did want to mention that if you're like maybe in a lower end fleet or Grand Arena where people don't have 7-star Leviathans yet, then Negotiator is suddenly very reliable counter. I would say maybe 60%, just because if it's not 7 stars, all the abilities are not maxed out. Most importantly, Sabotage the Hungers, so at the level 8, so your opponent will need a 7-star Leviathan to level up these abilities. So this is where then reinforcement get destroyed. So if they are 6-star or below, they will not be able to destroy your second reinforcement. So this obviously makes it a little bit easier to handle that. And also, very important thing to note, at 7 stars, when they have Sabotage the Engine maxed out, they will be isolating the target enemy if they're light side, which will basically render Ahsoka useless. But 6 stars or below, no isolate, so Ahsoka actually can participate in battle. You know, she can help with feeding turn meter, gaining turn meter, things like that. She's not there just for the buff dispels. Definitely 6-star or below, well, you know, Negotiator has quite a good chance versus 7 stars. I wouldn't use it personally unless you have really no other choice. Now, why Leviathan is so tough to take down for Negotiator is because of this one. Whenever an enemy reinforces, inflict daze on all enemies. And we all know what Negotiator is. It's all about bonus turn meter, assist, and things like that. So daze really shuts down Negotiator. That's really what the trick is. And then, of course, concussion mines that the B bomber, B28 bomber, whatever it's called, the Sieve bomber applies. Those concussion mines as well turn into daze again, further stopping your guys. So you can kind of mitigate that somewhat with bringing in Mark 6 Interceptor to apply tenacity up. But you know, in the initial opening sequence, you will be getting those concussion mines for the most part, and as well getting dazed. So this really is kind of the main thing we are up against when it comes to Leviathan, the constant dazes that our teams have. That's why you will see the forcements I will be using are not always just Galactic Republic. I was testing out different ways as well to try and somewhat negate the constant daze we have on our guys. Now, the biggest pain to really deal with Leviathan is finishing off Mark 6 Interceptor. As mentioned before, for the most part, as long as you get semi-decent RNG, you can pick the fleet apart, you know, pretty much. Again, depending on the reinforcements, you can knock down Fury, Bomber, Dagger, Assassin, Ample Shuttle, whatever is coming your way. But this guy, taking down 30-40 stacks, it's becoming quite challenging. So sometimes you simply run out of juice to take it down before, obviously, Leviathan takes over your capital ship. So this really is, I guess, the most annoying thing to deal with. Like whether it's TIE Dagger or Seed Fighter starting, it doesn't even matter. They do get nuked out of the gate right at the beginning, so it doesn't matter who's starting there. Again, I'll be showing you different starting lineups with Leviathan and how it performs. And now it's obviously time to talk about Galactic Republic. With Negotiator, it's all about spreading valor, getting as many turns, and feeding turn meter to Negotiator. So in a lot of cases it all comes out to this, how effectively are you spreading valor, and do you get dazed or not. Again, I'll cover all of that in the RNG factors as we're going through, because oh boy, they're huge. Now, in order for Negotiator to have a chance at countering Leviathan, you will need Marauder in the starting lineup, Ahsoka, and Anakin. Now, in terms of the turn order, you definitely need Ahsoka going first, so she can go ahead and dispel the pre-taunt on the bomber, so you can then nuke either Dagger or Seed Fighter in the starting lineup with the mass assist. So Ahsoka needs to go first, and then for the most part your Negotiator needs to go second, do the mass assist before, because like either Marauder or Anakin go before Negotiator, they will re-trigger the taunt that Ahsoka just dispelled. Now, in terms of the turn order, ideally your Anakin Starfighter should be faster, so it gets a turn before Marauder. So when Marauder goes, apply its stealth, that stealth Anakin just lasts longer. Now, as long as you don't have too high geared your Bad Batch, you know, Marauder will be slower. As you can see here, I do have like a 6-star Marauder. They're all kind of gear 10, 11, but I was even doing this with gear 9. So again, you don't need maxed out Bad Batch even for this to work. And in this case, we get a speed of what, 145, but we do get an extra speed somewhere. There we go. We got plus 15 speed as well. So effective speed of Marauder in my case is 160. But I do know, like in my other account where I do have Relic 5 Bad Batch, and if I do put 6 dot mods on all of them, then Marauder was faster than my Relic 7 Anakin Starfighter. So again, something you might want to play around with and see if you can make Marauder slower than your Anakin or not. And now for the fleet itself that I'll be using, so the two battles that I'll show you versus lower star Leviathan, will be using this lineup here that's not fully maxed out, and all the 7-star gameplay will be with my main account where I do have leveled up all the pilots to relic levels. So just something I want to show you that if you're kind of lower end fleet arena, even, you know, with a very kind of basic-ish Negotiator fleet, you still have a chance to punch up. So I've shown you before already, a Marauder there, not maxed out, all the pilots as well. Now in terms of the reinforcements, what I like to do, I like to bring in a Mark 6 Interceptor first. Again, it does not need to be leveled up at all. You just need it to come in, apply tenacity up, and hopefully it can survive until the next turn. So no need to be like, you know, fully maxed out at all. As you can see, I've have it at 4 stars. And the second reinforcement, again, low gear, doesn't matter, it just needs to come in and use the cleanse ability, because when it comes in, everybody get dazed, right? And then you can straight away cleanse it off and you can start getting bonus turn meter again. So that's what I like to do. Again, if your gauntlet is better leveled up, even better, but even at low gear it did the job. Now if you don't have gauntlet, you don't have Mark 6, I think in one of the battles I'll show you as well what I reinforce with Plow first. Again, my Plow here, very low gear, and then also Y-Wing as a second reinforcement, or sometimes first could be useful to get a Dispel. Again, as you can see, by no means a maxed out Negotiator fleet. Okay, so with all of that out of the way, just some of the mechanics and as well the fleet itself that I'll be using. Let's finally go through these RNG factors. So the first one straight out of the gate is, will Anakin's AoE land healing and buff immunity? That's kind of key, because if you don't, you won't be able to get around Bomber at all, especially if there's no buff immunity and healing immunity. Anyway, in battles I'll show you different RNG, but for the most part, if you don't let neither healing nor buff immunity, in most likelihood you won't defeat Bomber at all. You will nuke either Dagger or their Seed Fighter in the starting lineup, and that's about it. And at this point, even a 2-shot is going to be near impossible. But as long as for my testing you either land healing or buff immunity, you're in a good position to 2-shot. If you land both, you know, there's a good opportunity actually that you can actually win as well. So this is going to be in the opening right at the start. Do we land healing immunity or not? I can see, boom, boom, boom. there you go, healing immunity got resisted. In this case, we only got buff immunity. Sometimes both get resisted. In this case, I feel sorry that happened. But for those cases, when you land both, you've got a very good chance to do some nice damage. The second piece of RNG is target locks. So in the opening sequence, Negotiator's AoE can land target locks. So it depends, do they get target locked or not, especially Bomber. It really depends, because then obviously once Anakin hits somebody with target lock, he will spread Valor. So that's kind of the important bit here. So again, you can see with the assist here, in this case, we did land a target lock on Sith Bomber. And why is that important? As mentioned earlier, it also helps you spreading Valor. So whenever Anakin uses the basic on an enemy that has a target lock, he can grant Valor to a random enemy. Boom, there we go. In this case, we got Valor over on Marauder. So when Marauder takes a turn, again, he will feed turn meter to Negotiator. That's why also landing those target locks, especially on Sith Bomber, is very important. It will help you out get enough turn meter to your Negotiator to do its things. And in other case, yeah, we did have target lock, but nobody got Valor, as you can see. So either the Ahsoka was the random one that got Valor on there, but because she's isolated, she couldn't get it, or sometimes Anakin will apply Valor to himself, but he already got it. So even if you got target lock, there's still RNG. You know, you will actually hand out Valor to somebody that doesn't have it yet, just to help with the turn meter for Negotiator. And why is this important that we get enough Valor constantly in the field? Well, we'll talk about it actually after this one. Let's talk about concussion mines. So in the opening sequence, when you do the swarm attack, does Anakin get concussion mines on him or not, as well on its AoE, yes or no? This will then daze him straight at the beginning, so this will slow his turn meter down, which for my testing is actually better for some reason, because whenever Anakin didn't get dazed at the beginning, the way the turn meter aligned up between Anakin and Negotiator, it wasn't ideal. So actually getting concussion mine in the opening sequence, at least for my testing, was a little bit better. So again, lots of RNG involved in this one, and this kind of leads to Mark 6 surviving. When you reinforce Mark 6, it depends, was your Negotiator fast enough in front of the other enemies that Mark 6 can survive until its second turn, because that will again help you out with increasing your chances. And again, this will largely rely, as mentioned before, on how Valor is spread. Because you can see here, we have Mark 6 down to 3 stacks only. So if you do survive to get another turn, you can recover lots of stacks before Fury class does its mass assist. In these battles, you can see they were able to get a turn before I was able to get a turn with Mark 6. Mark 6 died off right there. So just something to bear in mind. And for my testing, I didn't really find any relation between, you know, enemies and Mark 6. It's just, I think, like getting enough Valor, getting enough turn meter to your Negotiator at the start of the battle, so you can reinforce quick enough so that you can then actually outrun the other guys. Now, if your Mark 6 survives to the point where you can recover stacks, in those cases actually win rates go up quite a lot. But again, from my testing, it doesn't happen that often, hence the 28-30% win rate. And then the next bit of RNG, which again depends on the same thing pretty much. Can you get out your second reinforcements before your hunger or sabotage? So this depends on two things really. Either you get enough turn meter with your Negotiator to outrun enemy Leviathan to that point that you bring in second reinforcement before they do that, or in some cases what will happen is that they will not land enough debuffs on your guys, and then they can't use sabotage hungers. This can happen sometimes in those situations where they bring in Palp shuttle as the first reinforcement. Speaking of reinforcements, yeah, this is also an RNG factor. Is Palp shuttle first, Mark 6 first? From my testing, if Mark 6 is first reinforcement, is always harder to win. that's because you will struggle to get all those stacks down. But if Mark 6 comes in the second reinforcements, uses his insta-kill, it will reset its stack down to only 10. And then you can get it down quicker. So if Palp Mobile goes in first, you can then nuke him. But here, you know, if it comes Mark 6 first and as well then Shuttle second, I think that will be a struggle. And also, as you can see here, I was even able to hang in there, but I just kept in bringing more and more reinforcements, and eventually you run out of gas. So again, we're going versus lower star Leviathans. They won't have that many reinforcements. Or even Grand Arena, 7-star Leviathans, some only like to put 2 or maybe 3 reinforcements. You know, again, can a little bit make it easier for you to win. Okay, so that's all the RNG out of the way. So we are finally ready here to actually go into the battles and walk you through you know, a few different things that I tested out. So for the first one, I guess the most common one you will see with Seed Fighter starting. Now, according to data, Negotiator has 24% win rate versus Seed Fighter starting. I think this is the lowest of all the battles that I'll show you. And this example also shows what happens with Mark 6 is first reinforcement. And I think this battle actually had quite good RNG, it's just that Mark 6 was just too much to handle. Anyway, the way it works, we start off, Ahsoka goes first, dispelling the taunt, then we just go ahead and do mass assist over Sith Assassin. Sometimes you nuke them, sometimes not. If not, Anakin's AoE finishes it off. Very good RNG here, we got target locked, we got a buff immunity, healing immunity, pretty much everything we would want at this point. Then the isolate Ahsoka. That's how it is versus 7 stars. With Ahsoka, don't do any damage because she'll just get concussion mines on herself. So just kind of do her dispel ability. We obviously do the AoE now with Marauder. Bringing in Mark 6 first. Let's get a tenacity up so we can start resisting those debuffs. There we go. Okay, so now they're bringing Mark 6 as the first reinforcement. Let's see if my Mark 6 can survive until the turn. Okay, there we go. We defeated their Seed Bomber because of the healing immunity. There we go. My Mark 6 surviving. So far, RNG's been great in this battle. There we go. We got now unending loyalty on us. They keep going after Mark 6 now. That's why it's important. Mark 6 does survive. Let's go ahead and put Anakin back into stealth. Alright. Should I just keep going after Fury, I guess? Alright, so reinforcement will get destroyed whenever we bring one, so maybe we won't do that. Just do basics if we can get down Fury Interceptor first. Boom, down it goes. And now we play the game, right? Can we finish Mark 6 on time or not? Like, if they wouldn't sabotage my hungers yet, and I would be able to bring my second reinforcement, probably would have enough juice here to take down Mark 6. Here, let's see if we can, you know, get it down. Boom, boom, boom. Only down to 20 stacks. Do an AoE. Sure. Give me tenacity up. So far, we're hanging in there. Come on, big hit. There we go. Just... And here comes, obviously, their ultimate. In this case, if maybe they're out of reinforcements, they only place 2 or 3 reinforcements, maybe it could work, but this was Fleet Arena, so it was a full 4 reinforcement Leviathan, and I just was not able to get it done. So they go even where I had near perfect RNG. The only thing that went wrong, I wasn't able to reinforce second time. And that's why I think Mark 6 reinforcing is tougher. 1, it has a lot more stacks to burn through, but 2, it comes in, starts spreading debuffs, ensuring they can actually sabotage your hungers. Whereas sometimes when Palps comes in first, they don't dish out enough debuffs in order for you to do that. Okay, so still again Seed Fighter, but this time Palpatine reinforcing first, just to show you the difference. Now, luckily in my Fleet Arena, most people, Palp is the first reinforcement, so depending obviously on what is your in Fleet Arena, how this can work. We start off again with a Dispel, we do mass attack over on Sith Fighter, AoE will finish it off, then we hide Anakin under stealth, so then the only one they can isolate is Ahsoka. Same thing as battle number 1. This time, what did we get? We got buff and healing immunity, but no target lock. Let's do a cleanse with Ahsoka, smack an AoE. There we go, do a basic, nice big hit. Again, let's go ahead and bring in Mark 6 Interceptor for that tenacity up. I'm gonna do that, boom. Okay, what they've got, so they got Palp first. Well, Palp can be annoying because he just healed up their Seed Fighter, so Seed Bomber, so we have to deal with Seed Bomber now. But you will still see that actually this will work out better overall. So definitely, from my testing at least, Mark 6 as the first reinforcement is by far the hardest one to take down. Okay, let's put Anakin back under stealth. Do a basic. Sure, smack an AoE. There we go, perfect. We've got a healing immunity on Fury, so we can get it down. They disabled my hangar, so no second reinforcement for me, unfortunately. But I just want to show you that actually why is better, why it's easier if Mark 6 is second reinforcement. Let them just reinforce in a moment. Sure, let's just go ahead, smack Palp Shuttle. So yes, they will insta-kill somebody, but because at this point you will have unending loyalty, you cannot be defeated. And because the Mark 6 used their basic, all the stacks got shut down. So now I got just six more stacks to burn from Mark 6. Yeah, so it depends on reinforcement. Can work, cannot work, I guess. You'll have to give it a try. There we go, let's throw the bombs out. This finished off Palp Shuttle there. Things are looking bleak right now. They went into the ultimate, but because we don't have the annoying Mark 6 to deal with, Concussion Mines finishing it off. Now just a couple of hits here on Seed Bomber, and this is going to be a win for us. There we go. Not pretty, but it worked. Okay, so let me show you then some 5-star gameplay as well, just that you see. So this is where, if you don't have Mark 6 at all, even at low gear, how you can make it work versus lower star Leviathan. Yeah, so same thing, we're going to go ahead and do a dispel here. So let's go ahead and do that. Then we're going to go ahead and do mass assist over on Safe Assassin. AoE there will finish off the Assassin. We got buff and healing immunity here. Let's go ahead and put Anakin under stealth. There we go. The sabotage on engines, but because it wasn't a 7-star Leviathan, Ahsoka does not get isolated. So she's got Valor now, so she can keep feeding Terminator. She can, you know, participate in the battle. Now, if you don't have Mark 6 then at all, then the first reinforcement can either be Plo or Y-Wing. Here I decided to bring in Y-Wing because I had buff immunity on Seed Bomber, so I can go ahead and dispel that, and now we can go straight after Fury. But if you don't have healing immunity on Seed Bomber, you would want to bring in Plo as the first reinforcement. Let's go ahead, just do a basic. They're finished off Fury. They brought in Mark 6 as the first reinforcement. We'll just keep going. We got target lock there on Seed Bomber, so hopefully Anakin gave Valor to somebody, not only himself. I don't know. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, but again, not a 7-star Leviathan, so we can actually bring in a second reinforcement even though they sabotaged our hungers. We go, dispel the taunt. Fury died off there from the concussion mines. Smack out another AoE. Boom. Okay, what I've got for us, they bring in Dagger now. Okay, Dagger doing its thing, and now we can go ahead and bring in let's bring in Plo again. Maybe Gauntlet would be better here, but I just wanted to show, if you don't have, you can bring in Plo and just put a taunt on itself, and then hopefully we can get down here. Seed Bomber again, put Anakin in stealth. One more hit and Bomber should go down. Let's go ahead and finish. Oh god, finish. Thank you. Bomber down. Okay, what they've got for us, no ultimate there, so let's go ahead, feed some Terminator to the team, whoever is not dazed. Let's go ahead, mass assist over on Mark 6, start working through those stacks. I'm just gonna go ahead, smack an AoE here. What I want to do here, let's go ahead, finish off Dagger, and just down to Mark 6. And again, this was only a 5-star Leviathan, so they don't have full reinforcements. I see no isolation, no destroying of your reinforcements. So definitely versus, 6-star or lower, as long as you get, that buff immunity and or healing immunity locked in on Seed Bomber, the opening sequence, quite a good chance to win. So in this lower account that I have, this allows me to climb, into like top 20, taking on some lower gear Leviathan. So definitely I was happy when this worked. And let's go ahead and show you another battle versus 5-star Leviathan. This time no buff immunity lands, because the first one landed both buff and healing immunity, just to show you a little bit different RNG how that battle goes. Again, same thing, we dispel the taunt, we do mass assist on Sith Assassin, do the AoE, only healing immunity this time, so bringing in Y-Wing as the first reinforcement makes no sense at this point, because you won't be able to remove the taunt that easily. It'll just gain it back up without the buff immunity. Let's go ahead and do the dispel. So in this case, you can either bring, if you don't have Mark 6, you can bring in Blow to get a taunt up, but I do highly recommend even, low gear, low star Mark 6 as shown here works pretty well. Bring in, get a tenacity up going, we get some counter attacks and things like that. Sure, just give me a basic there. Yeah. Let's just go ahead, finish off Seed Bomber. Doesn't have buff immunity, so it'll taunt anyways. Let's go ahead and get unlanding loyalty up. Do the basic there. Yeah, Mark 6 is gone. Not ideal, but this is not a 7-star Leviathan, so I think I can still make it work. Got a shock on Anakin. Not looking too good right now. Do we have another reinforcement coming in soon, I hope? There we go. Bomber is down. Let's go ahead and again, you can bring in Plow for the cleanse, and then you can put taunt on itself, but now you guys are dazed, or you could try Gauntlet for the cleanse. A couple of different options really, depending on what you have. I'll show you different battles with different reinforcements. Time to do some mass assist. There we go, Fury's gone. Let's go ahead, speed up the footage. Now we just have to burn for this guy. Throw those out. Again, they sabotage my hangars, but I can still bring reinforcements in because it's not a 7-star Leviathan. There we go, let's go ahead, finish off Dagger there, and they also don't have 4th reinforcement unlocked as well because they're not 7 stars. They kind of always make it to the ultimate, but at this point, you got things under control. Just kind of have to work through here. They got Retribution, yes, I know, there we go. As soon as Mark 6 is down, you just need to finish off the last remaining ship, and you're good to go. So as mentioned before, versus 6-star or lower Leviathan, it's a pretty good counter. Versus 7 stars, as I shown you in Battle 1. For the most part, everything went according to plan, and I still lost. So let me show you now battles versus different enemies as well starting. So this one will be versus TIE Dagger, so that's 33% win rate. As you can see, versus Seed Fighter starting was 24, versus TIE Dagger 33. And I think the main reason is because if TIE Dagger is starting, then Mark 6 is always the second reinforcement, I believe, never first. That's why it makes it a little bit more reliable, I think. Okay, same thing. We're just going to go ahead and get it taunt off Seed Bomber. And let's go ahead and go after TIE Dagger. TIE Dagger is tankier than Seed Fighter, but still from my testing, you always nuke it there. Okay, and because I actually defeated there with the mass assist TIE Dagger, no point of doing the AoE, because we'll just get more debuffs on us. I just kind of decided to do basic there. Okay, let's go ahead and cleanse. Sure, give me an AoE. But again, this is back to 7-star gameplay, so Ahsoka does get isolated. Same thing, we're going to go ahead and bring in our Mark 6 Interceptor, get tenacity up. Okay, there we go. Now I'm gonna smack an AoE, I was saving it for this time. Now here they bring in Seed Fighter as the first reinforcement. That always how it is, I think, with Dagger starting. Sure, just do a basic. Hit him back. There we go, we got a turn already. We got now buff immunity over on Bomber, and that's why I was saving that AoE in beginning, because we nuked Dagger, so I didn't need AoE. I'd rather save it, make sure I apply it at this point later on. Going after now our Fury Interceptor, and here we go. Mark 6 second reinforcement. Everybody got unending loyalty. Mark 6 doesn't care about insta defeats. So that's why I think that Seed Fighter is starting is the toughest, because then sometimes Mark 6 Interceptor comes in as first. Okay, no buff immunity. We did get healing immunity, but you know, that's fine. There we go, we got buff immunity with Gauntlet. Sure, give me an AoE. Almost got him, come on. There we go. We triggered their mini savior mechanic, finish of bomber, and now at this point, as you can see, we're in good shape. Sure, give me another reinforcement. Let's go ahead and dispel that. And just now they sabotage my hungers. Wow. Okay, so that was a win, and let's go ahead another one. So battle 6. So this is as well Mark 6. Sometimes you would see Mark 6 starting. They're trying to throw off, you know, Chimera counter or something. But this one Negotiator works quite well. Again, 32% win rate. Again, quite a bit higher than versus Seed Fighter starting. Just iterating that my point is Seed Fighter is the best in the starting lineup on defense. At least according to data. We're gonna dispel the taunt. We're just going to go ahead here to mass assist, AoE, and Mark 6 is gone. And Mark 6 has been defeated right out of the gate. We don't have to worry about it taking it on later. So definitely I think versus this lineup Negotiator is good. We also got both healing and buff immunity there. On Seed Bomber, obviously hiding Anakin instead of doing the AoE later on. Again, Mark 6, first reinforcement, we get tenacity up. There we go, beautiful. We get retribution, obviously, no target lock on Seed Bomber, so no spreading valor. There we go, already took it down. They're bringing in now Seed Fighter as the first reinforcement, but without tank at this point. It's basically free lunch for everybody, and this battle is, I think, over pretty much. I think one more hit or a couple of more hits and we should be... Oh, come on. Oh, we still have a savior mechanic. That should do it, yeah. Okay, so as you can see with Mark 6 starting, Negotiator, as long as you get those buff and or healing immunity, pretty reliable. Versus Bomber starting, only 21% win rate. So let's, because I've seen this type Bomber as well on defense in Grand Arena a couple of times, so I decided to test it up against this as well. And while it was tricky again, you can somehow make it work. Alright, so same thing, we're going to go ahead and I guess get a taunt off and see if we can nuke the TIE Bomber starting. Yeah, almost got him, come on. There we go, finished him off. So guys, the idea here is that they still have all the good safe ships available to reinforce. So let's see what the turn order will be. Okay, so they obviously isolated Ahsoka, they've got no other choice. We do have healing and buff immunity again on Seed Bomber. Sure, let's go ahead and do that. Do an AoE. And let's go ahead and bringing our trusty Mark 6 Interceptor as the reinforcement. I'm just going to go ahead and get tenacity up. Okay, what I've got is the first reinforcement. Okay, so they're bringing in Seed Fighter as the first reinforcement. So I guess similar to TIE Dagger starting, I guess. I lost Ahsoka there, unfortunate, but we were able to finish off Bomber. And at this point again, free lunch basically. I'll let Anakin go to town, get unending loyalty up, just in case Mark 6 Interceptor will be the second reinforcement. So we can tank the insta-kill. Sure, give me stealth over on Anakin. Do you want to throw the bombs? Do you want to reinforce? Yeah, bringing Gauntlet, everybody gets days, but guess what? Gauntlet cleanses off the days and now we can keep gaining that bonus turn meter, especially with Anakin. I find they took out Gauntlet, doesn't matter. Maybe, yeah, I'm just gonna smack an AoE. There we go, we got healing immunity, perfect. Let's go ahead and tap their Interceptor and do here mass assist. There we go. And this was a win as well. And there you go, guys. This is the Negotiator versus Leviathan video. I do not want to call it counter guide, even though I showed you mostly wins. I did warn you, it's about 28% win rate according to data, depending on the lineups. And also the battles that I show you is where I landed healing and or buff immunity. Whenever you land neither of those, it's gonna go downhill quickly. As I've shown you in the first battle, that's why I showed you the loss first, just that you don't get the wrong impression. But I didn't waste your time now showing you losses. I just kind of showed you when things do go well, how to handle the battle. Again, reminder, 6-star or lower, much better win rates, just because they cannot isolate Ahsoka, they cannot destroy your reinforcements. And if Seed Fighter is starting, those are tougher, but anything else starting, much easier to deal with because of the Mark 6 not reinforcing first. Alright guys, hopefully this video was useful and helpful just to show you how it works. I guess you can try it out in Fleet Arena and see how you get along with it. But until then, have fun, enjoy life, and may the RNG be with you, my friends.